K-pop is in court right now with contracts, payments, and some idols even going to prison, but let's start off with the most infamous one, with police request for arrest warrant for Hype chairman Si Hyuk. Let's read into this. Here in the original article, it says, the police has requested an arrest warrant for Hype chairman Si Hyuk. On April 21st, the Seoul Metropolitan Police Agency's Financial Crime Investigation Division announced that they requested an arrest warrant for chairman Si Hyuk, who is accused of violating the Capital Markets Act, fraudulent unfair trading. Chairman Si Hyuk is suspected of deceiving investors by claiming that there were no plans for an IPO before Hybe went public in 2019, thereby inducing investors to sell their shares to a specific private equity fund, PEF, only to proceed with the listing shortly thereafter. Police believe that under a private agreement made in advance with the private equity fund, Si Hyuk received 30% of the profits from the sale of shares from the IPO, resulting in nearly 200 billion won, approximately $13.5 million in illicit gains. Si Hyuk maintains that he did not deceive the initial investors, asserting that the sale was carried out at the request of the investors themselves and that the profit sharing terms were conditions first proposed by the investors. Okay, so he basically convinced investors, being like, hey yo, buy into this, do this, and you know what, sell that to this specific private equity fund, and all of a sudden he got $13 million. That's what makes it a bit stressful. I just want to also point out that the $13 million, that's just over a third of what New Jeans' Danielle is being sued for. I'm saying I'm saying that for the scale. I'm not saying that New Jeans' Danielle is involved in this. I'm just saying what he kind of frauded others for, frauded investors for, what he kind of and apparently, allegedly, reportedly got investors to give money to is still less than the amount of what Hybe is asking Danielle to pay them. That's it. And with an update following the police's request for an arrest warrant for Hybe chairman Si Hyuk on charges of fraudulent unfair trading, his legal representative has released a statement. Si Hyuk's attorney stated, "It is regrettable that an arrest warrant has been requested despite his sincere cooperation with the investigation over a long period of time. We faithfully participate in future legal proceedings and do our utmost to clarify the facts." Basically saying, listen, Si Hyuk, he's been doing good. He's been doing alright, but it sucks that they request an arrest warrant. I am bad at speaking, but yeah, it seems kind of fishy. Out of all the things you can say about getting arrested for what he's doing, he's like, oh yeah, it kind of sucks. We'll just follow through. It kind of seems like he is guilty, because I don't know how major fraud is in South Korea, because every country has reacts to different types of crimes in every different way, right? For example, in Philippines and stuff, doing drugs and all that type of stuff can sometimes be seen as worse than murder, from what I've seen. If you know the president that did the whole, I'm not gonna say it, but there's also in South Korea, doing drugs is seems worse than grape. I'm not allowed to say the actual word, but that is also quite wild. The way for some reason the media treated Top worse than they treated the other past Big Bang member. That's weird. But when it comes to fraud, I don't know on how major this is, how bad this is seen, but it's seen bad on Si Hyuk himself rather than the company itself. This really doesn't have anything to do with Hybe's management, Hybe's marketing, or anything like that. It's purely just Si Hyuk trying to do a little sneaky with investors, being like, hey yo, invest in this and now sell it, and then oh, I got money. And then if you put two and two together, stocks kind of make sense. But there's still investigation. We still don't know when the arrest will happen. It will most likely happen. We don't know what is the truth. We will never truly know what the truth is unless, there's a full-on court hearing where we can all see what happens and all the information is leaked. But I'm pretty sure they're going to try to keep it as mellow and private as possible. But we'll see what happens in this investigation. And my guess is, I don't know, it just feels weird, because there was a time, to all you newsstands out there, there was a time, especially I'd say around 20... pretty much since, no, not since debut, but pretty much since 2016, Wings era of BTS till like 2019, he was seen as like one of the best K-pop company higher ups, chairmen, CEOs, or whatever you say. Like, there were even seminars where he would give advice to people on how to resolve conflict between people, because people wanted to know how he was able to gain such success with BTS, and how BTS's relationship is what made them a big success, and how he was able to pretty much help BTS and manage BTS into the success they are in during that time, and even more now, because BTS are the GOATs, undoubtedly. So there was a time where Bang Si Hyuk was very much looked up to, and now it's kind of gone down to this. And it kind of sucks, but the more successful someone gets, either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain, and causing fraud. It's not very nice. Now, going from fraud to contracts, court rules in favor of Fantasy Boys members in Bay 173's Doha for contract suspension plus agency response to that. So let's get into it. The court has ruled in favor of the 6 Fantasy Boys members in Bay 173's Doha who filed injunctions to suspend contracts with the agency Pocket Doll Studio back in November 2025. Bay 173's Doha, along with Fantasy Boys Kangmin-so, Lee Han-bin, Hikaru, Hong Sang-min, Kim Gyu-rae, and K-dan, I probably butchered their names, filed lawsuits against Pocket Doll Studios seeking confirmation of the non-existence of the exclusive contracts and injunctions to suspend their validity. On April 16, the court ruled to grant the injunctions to suspend the exclusive contracts of the 6 Fantasy Boys members. While the court acknowledged that the agency had provided statements regarding payment for the first and second quarters of 2025, it identified the lack of specificity. I've never used that word. I just use specific in income details, and the failure to attach supporting documents as the primary causes for the breakdown of trust. Following the court ruling, Fantasy Boys agencies Pocket Doll Studio and Funky Studio announced their intention to immediately appeal the decision, stating the practical realities of entertainment management and contract fulfillment process were not sufficiently considered, and added that the judgment focused only on certain procedural requirements. It was additionally revealed on April 21st that the court also granted the injunction filed by Doha against Pocket Doll Studio. Regarding the decision, Doha took to his Instagram to share the following message. Hello, this is Min. Thank you for waiting for such a long time without a word, and I apologize for reaching out so late. As this was a period of time that held great significance for me, I have been feeling a mix of many emotions lately. Through the recent court decision, I have been able to move past the situation that had brought everything to a standstill. Now I intend to move forward once again. I will work to show you that I have been preparing as soon as possible. I will do my best to greet you from my rightful place once again. Thank you. And here's the Instagram post. So I'm very happy about this, because I don't know if anybody has seen the Fantasy Boys survival show, but when contestants were eliminated, they looked happy. It wasn't like, oh, got eliminated, oh no, that sucks. They were like, oh, I'm going, bye bye, see you in hopefully another company, because I don't like this company. That was kind of like the goodbyes there. And that kind of gave the whole survival show was a mess. It was a mess. I didn't fully watch it, but I know it was a mess with the amount of news and articles and people talking about it. It was an insane time. So I'm not surprised that this happened. The company seems pretty dodgy. Usual K-pop contract, slavery contracts. That's what it's called, slave contracts. And also Bay 173's Doha. Glad he's getting his contract suspended. If you're looking to be a K-pop idol, I have a lot of young fans that have told me that they want to, pursue the K-pop industry. Double check the contracts. Look at the contracts. Make sure your contracts gives you rights. Make sure the contract gives you rights. Otherwise, you're going to sign off on certain things. And if you're underage, make sure your parents sign off on that. Because if you're underage, you legally can't sign a contract just by yourself. It has to be also your parents. So, yeah, be careful out there. But glad they have some sort of freedom. They sorted it out. The court ruled in their favor. Good on them. So let's hope for more of that. Yeah. Now from contracts to payments, we have legal representative of 9 the BOYZ members refused 100's claims of payment. Let's get into it. So the legal representative of 9 The BOYZ members has released an official statement regarding the members' ongoing legal battle with Agency 100 following the group's demand for contract termination from 100. It was further reported on April 21st that Sangyeon, Jacob, Younghun, Hyunjae, Juyeon, Kevin, Q, Sunwoo, and Eric, 9 members of the BOYZ, filed a complaint against 100 CEO Cha Ga-won for embezzlement. In response, CEO Cha Ga-won's legal representative released an official statement stating, "We have already completed 100% of the exclusive contract fees and settlement payments to the members, and future payment plans have also been transparently established." However, following the statement, the BOYZ Sunwoo uploaded a screenshot of the article on his personal Instagram stories, showing a question mark and X sign beneath the phrase "payment complete." On April 22nd, the BOYZ legal representative Kim Moon-hui, I can't Korean, of law firm Yuchon LLC, released the following statement. "Hello, this is attorney Kim Moon-hui, from Yuchon LLC. On behalf of the BOYZ members Sangyeon, Jacob, Younghun, Hyunjae, Juyeon, Kevin, Q, and Sunwoo, and Eric, hereinafter the artist, we would like to present the artist's official position regarding the statement released by 100 label on April 21st, 2026. We would like to clearly state that as of the time the agency announced its official position, claiming that all settlement payments to the artist have been completed, as well as up to the present moment, none of the artists have received any payments whatsoever, including the unpaid settlements for the 3rd and 4th quarters of 2025. Even prior to filing for the injunction, the agency repeatedly postponed and reversed payment deadlines, yet proper payment was never made. In particular, during the process of responding to the artist's application for an injunction to suspend the validity of the exclusive contracts, the agency specified payment deadlines multiple times and stated that settlements, payments, and delayed damages would be paid by those dates, but no actual payment has been made. Under these circumstances, it is deeply regrettable that an official statement claiming that payment has been completed was released despite no payments have been made. The artists take seriously the confusion and the concern caused to fans and related parties due to the claims that differ from the facts. We ask for your understanding. In particular, we hope that while legal procedures are ongoing, the repeated spread of conflict and fatigue due to definitive claims that do not align with the facts will not continue. Furthermore, the criminal complaint filed by the artist is currently under investigation in accordance with proper legal procedures, and the artists are faithfully cooperating with investigation by submitting necessary materials as requested by the authorities. We have officially confirmed that the Yongsan Police Station decided on April 22 to transfer this case to the Financial Crime Investigation Unit of the Seoul Metropolitan Police Agency. The jurisdiction of investigating authority is determined based on whether formal requirements are met not on the substance of the case. Therefore, discussing the legal validity of the complaint based on the assigned investigative body merely serves to mislead public opinion. The agency's legal representative must clarify whether the Financial Crime Investigation Unit reviewed the case and rejected a request for consolidation within less than a day of its transfer of April 20, and through what means much information was obtained. If the agency's representative received official secrets through improper contact with the police, those involved must bear corresponding responsibility. The artists hope that the facts will be clearly established and appropriate measures taken through lawful procedures conducted by the investigative authorities. The agency must immediately cease actions that mislead public opinion based on false claims or repeatedly make unfounded accusations against the artists and their legal representatives. If such actions continue, the artists will respond firmly, and including to all possible civil and criminal measures. At present, the dispute over the validity of the termination of the exclusive contract between the artist and the agency will be decided by the court through the injunction proceedings, and the criminal complaint will also be subject to legal judgment through the investigative process. Rather than continuing to make unilateral claims through the media using false information or definitive expressions, we hope that all parties will sincerely cooperate with legal procedures so that a swift resolution and conclusion can be reached. The artists will also do their utmost to ensure that the matter is resolved as quickly as possible. This legal representative just dropped the mic being like, yo, the company said they paid, but like the members, they haven't been paid at all since the 3rd quarter of last year. So like, why are they spreading false accusations? They need to pay the members. They need to do it now. That's pretty much what the legal representative did. What's their name again? Kim Moon Hui. Kim Moon Hui. I don't know, but they dropped the mic on 100 label. So damn, and it's being investigated by the same department as the police department that's been investigating Bang Ji-hyuk's fraud thing. So this is all like big financial legal stuff. My gosh. But yeah, if the boys aren't really getting paid, then they better be paid because they've been working their butts off. So yeah, hopefully they get paid and then things actually get settled, because settlement and money. Also, someone got arrested, and as I was editing, I got the notification saying that the court grants injunction suspending contracts of 9 the BOYZ members with 100. So, yep, they were able to get their contract suspended. I don't know if they were able to get paid yet. Oh yeah, fundamentally, so they haven't gotten properly paid yet, but yeah, so far it has gone in their favor. So the boys currently getting justice. Now Taehyun sentenced to 1 year in prison in first trial for drunk driving. On April 9th, the Seoul Western District Court's Criminal Division 11 held the first trial sentencing hearing for Nam Taehyun, who was indicted on charges including violating the Road Traffic Act drunk driving. The court sentenced him to 1 year in prison along with a fine of 1 million won, approximately $675. The court stated, while the defendant has confessed and is reflecting on his actions, we have taken into account that he committed drunk driving again despite previously being fined for the same offense. In addition, he committed this offense during a probation period following a confirmed drug-related charge which warrants strict punishment. Nam Taehyun is accused of causing an accident at 4:10 a.m. Korean Standard Time on April 27th last year. Wow, happy anniversary, I guess, after drinking while attempting to overtake a vehicle near Dongjak Bridge on the Gangbyeonbokro Highway, heading toward Ilsan, during which he crashed into the central divide. Oh my god, he was driving at 182 kilometers per hour? And at an 80 kilometer speed. Whoa! Although there were no injuries or victims from the accident, his blood alcohol concentration at the time was reported to be 0.122%, and the legal percentage is 0.08. He was 0.04 more percent than the alcohol. Like, that is a lot. That is a lot. Previously, during the final hearing on March 12th, prosecutors have requested a sentence of 1 year and 6 months in prison, along with a fine of 1 million won, citing his prior record for similar offenses, his high blood alcohol level, excessive speeding, and the fact that the incident occurred during his probation period. Yep, it kind of makes sense. You gotta admit, if you are drunk driving to the point where you're driving 180 kilometers in the 80 kilometer zone, yes, that is wild. And then now you're in your probation period and you still do that again. Not the exact same thing, but still driving under the influence while you're still in your probation period. Yeah, that requires a prison sentence. But the fact that, like, I don't like to compare crimes and compare what people do and whatever, but the fact that he's getting 1.5 years for drunk driving, and then a second past NCT member is getting only 3.5 years for gang rape. You know, it seems like that past NCT member should get a bigger punishment, because that, in my eyes, is way worse and way more intense. But, you know, that's my opinion. I guess I shouldn't be talking about it. But, like, yeah, I see why, you know, driving under influence is bad. You know, I'm not somebody that likes to drink at all or, like, do drugs at all. But the simple fact that you drink and drive when, like if you're above the age of, like, even 13, you should be well aware that you should not be managing any vehicle while you are under any type of influence, whether it's alcohol or drugs or whatsoever. So yeah, 1.5 years in prison for them. Don't drink and drive, kids, and don't do tax fraud, and pay your employees if you're an employer, and make sure to have good contracts, legal good contracts. Stay good.